This is part 2 of the Zodiac Killer saga. This story is complex and mysterious, so make sure you're all caught up on part 1 before we dive in here. Our story picks up back at Lake Berryessa in California, where the Zodiac tried to add 2 more lives to his victim total. That was September 27, 1969. Both victims managed to give witness statements to the police, but in the end, only one survived. The Zodiac repeated his infamous anonymous phone call move. He called the local police station from a payphone just 2 blocks away from the crime scene and reported his own crime. The police recovered a handprint from the phone, but it would not turn out to be helpful. Less than a month after the lake attack, it's October 11th, 1969. In San Francisco, taxi driver Paul Stein picks up a white male passenger at the corner of Mason Street and Geary Street. Stein drives the taxi just 1 block before the passenger shoots him in the head with a 9mm pistol. The killer takes Stein's wallet, car keys, and part of his bloody shirt. He wipes the car down before he walks away from the scene towards Presidio Park. 3 teenagers witness the crime and call the police while it's happening. Officers Don Fook and Eric Zelms respond to the call. 2 blocks from the crime scene, they see a white man walking down the street, but they don't stop and question him. In reports that would later circulate, the officers say there was a miscommunication and they thought they were looking for a black suspect. The killer escapes without a trace, leaving nothing but witnesses who try to provide an accurate police sketch. But the police don't yet know that the escaped suspect wasn't a regular carjacker or robber. On October 13th, 1969, Zodiac sends another letter to the Chronicle. He takes credit for the murder of Paul Stein. He says in the letter, "This is the Zodiac speaking. I am the murderer of the taxi driver over by Washington Street and Maple Street last night. To prove this, here is a blood-stained piece of his shirt. I'm the same man who did the people in North Bay area. The San Francisco police could have caught me last night if they had searched the park properly, instead of holding road races with their motorcycles, seeing who could make the most noise." The Zodiac then threatens to shoot up a school one morning, saying he'll pick off the kiddies as they come bouncing out. A day later, on October 14th, another letter arrives. This one contains a bloody scrap from Paul Stein's shirt. It's the Zodiac's way of proving he really committed the murder. November 12th, 1969. Winter is coming, and the Chronicle receives its next Zodiac letter. The letter is 7 pages long. There are bomb threats and egotistical tirades. The Zodiac claims he's murdered 2 more people, making his total 7. He isn't happy about what the police say about him, so he's decided to hide his future crimes. Now, when he collects his slaves, he'll make the death look like everyday robberies or accidental deaths. At the end of the letter, the Zodiac makes his usual threat, writing, "P.S. Be sure to print the part I marked out on page 3, or I shall do my thing." But isn't this warning a little strange here? He's just announced that when he murders in the future, no one will know it's him, but he's still willing to risk getting caught by lashing out against the media? Does the Zodiac want to be glorified as a serial killer, or does he want a private killing spree? In a way, it seems like even he can't make up his mind. The Zodiac puzzle doesn't get any clearer in December when the Zodiac sends a letter to Melvin Belly. Belly is a renowned lawyer at that time, and for some reason, he has the Zodiac's attention. Belly receives the letter 2 days after Christmas, on December 27th, 1969. Even for the Zodiac, the tone is disturbing. He wishes Belly a happy Christmas before asking for Belly's help, writing, "Please help me, I am drowning." He talks about trying to maintain his self-control and being afraid of doing something terrible. The letter ends with, "Please help me, I cannot remain in control for much longer." Included with the letter in the envelope is another scrap of Paul Stein's bloody shirt. So what could this mean? Is the Zodiac having a flash of a guilty conscience? Has he snapped out of his delusion? Is this just a new way to torment the investigators? Or is it a genuine cry for help? Paul Stein is the last officially confirmed victim of the Zodiac Killer, but it's not where the story ends. Far from it. Next is Kathleen Johns and her infant daughter, with one of the closest calls perhaps anyone has ever survived with a serial killer. It's March 22nd, 1970. This chilly evening, Kathleen Johns is driving on the highway. She's 7 months pregnant and has her 10-month-old daughter with her. Another car starts honking its horn and signals for her to pull over. Kathleen stops at the side of the road and a man climbs out to tell her he thinks there's something wrong with her tire. He offers to help and, after doing so, drives off again. Kathleen gets back on the freeway, but the tire immediately flies off the car. The man comes back to offer her and her daughter a lift to the nearest gas station. She accepts, but he doesn't stop at the gas station. Instead, he keeps driving back and forth for an hour and a half. He won't answer her questions or let her go, and he's not telling her where they're going. Imagine the horror dawning on you as a friendly gesture from a stranger turns deadly. How do you react? How do you protect yourself and your young child knowing you are sitting right next to pure evil? Eventually, they pull to a stop at an intersection and Kathleen jumps at the chance. She jumps from the car with her daughter and they sprint into a nearby field and hide. The man searches for them with a flashlight, all while promising not to hurt them. He gives up in the end though and drives off. Kathleen braves hitchhiking again and is taken to a police station in Patterson, California. While giving her statement, she suddenly realizes her kidnapper is watching her. It's the police composite sketch of the Zodiac Killer from the Paul Stein murder. The Zodiac would also later confirm kidnapping Kathleen in one of his letters, writing, "I'm rather unhappy because you people will not wear some nice buttons." So I now have a little list, starting with the woman and her baby that I gave a rather interesting ride for a couple of hours one evening a few months back that ended in my burning her car where I found them. Another month passes before anyone hears from the Zodiac. On April 22nd, 1970, he sends a letter to the press saying that he wasn't responsible for a bombing at Golden Gate Park. He does draw a diagram of a bomb he plans to use to kill school children though, and at the end of the letter, he writes Zodiac 10, San Francisco Police Department 0. He also takes credit for the murder of 25-year-old Sergeant Richard Radatich, but police deny any evidence that the Zodiac was involved. The Zodiac then goes quiet until October. On the 12th, the Chronicle gets a postcard in the mail with writing made up of newspaper and magazine clippings. The Zodiac claims to have murdered 13 people. 2 weeks later, on October 27, 1970, Paul Avery, the Chronicle's crime reporter, receives a Halloween card from the Zodiac with a message saying, "You are doomed." Shortly after getting this creepy correspondence, Avery gets an anonymous tip that the 1966 murder of Cherry Joe Bates might have something to do with the Zodiac. On November 16, 1970, Avery runs the story in the Chronicle. This fresh look at the case points to similarities with the Zodiac's crimes. News from the Zodiac becomes more and more infrequent though. He doesn't respond to Avery's article until March 16, 1971. This time, the LA Times receives a letter. This one boasts 17 victims in total and takes credit for Bates. Even so, the police don't believe that the Zodiac committed this murder. Instead, it seems more like he's taking credit for other people's crimes. 10 days later, on March 26, Avery receives a postcard now famously known as the Peek Through the Pines postcard. The card appears to reference the disappearance of Donna Lass 6 months earlier in September 1970. The area the postcard refers to was scoured, but all that was found was a pair of sunglasses. Can you see a trend here? The Zodiac letters show up at different times, taking credit for old, unsolved cases and unconfirmed new cases. Gone are the days of the Zodiac sending in legitimate proof for his crimes. So do you really think the Zodiac continued his killing spree quietly? Or did he want to maintain a sense of fear and malice by lying in his letters? For all we know, Paul Stein could have been the final victim of the Zodiac, but then again, there could have been many more. Now, we cut to 1974. It's been 3 years without a single appearance from the Zodiac. No symbols left at crime scenes, no cryptograms in the mail. He doesn't write, he doesn't call. He's pretty much ghosted the San Francisco Police Department. And then, on January 31st, the Chronicle gets a letter in familiar handwriting in the post. Their old pen pal reappearing after all these years. The letter says, "I saw and think The Exorcist was the best satirical comedy that I've ever seen. Signed, yours truly." The letter then references a children's song by the Mikado. He plunged himself into the billowy wave, and an echo arose from the suicide's grave. Titwillow, titwillow, titwillow. Then it says, "P.S. If I do not see this in your paper, I will do something nasty, which you know I'm capable of doing. Me, 37, San Francisco Police Department, 0. So 3 years have gone by with nothing from the Zodiac, and then he resurfaces out of nowhere to claim credit for 37 murders? What do you think of this? Is he telling the truth? To this day, there's only 7 confirmed victims of the Zodiac Killer. We know the Zodiac was fully capable of making his work publicly known, but 3 years of nothing, only to claim 37 victims, seems like a bit of a leap to me, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. In any case, the Chronicle goes on to publish the letter in the end, and once again, the Zodiac Killer falls silent. One of the most intriguing things about the Zodiac Killer is that he isn't known for being a smooth criminal. Throughout his story, there are plenty of examples of victims escaping and witnesses providing substantial accounts for the police. Could it be that the Zodiac Killer dreamed of being a serial killer legend but actually wasn't capable of it? Was his killing spree cut short by his own faults? Perhaps his taunting relationship with the police and press was enough to sustain his ego, or maybe his rampage was just never uncovered. 4 years later, the Chronicle gets its first letter since 1974. There's immediate doubt in 1978. There are critical differences between this letter and confirmed letters from the Zodiac. The handwriting is off, the wording doesn't sound quite right, there isn't enough to prove that the Zodiac had anything to do with this particular letter. Decades pass, yet no one who lived through the Zodiac years can let the story go. Robert Graysmith was a cartoonist at the Chronicle during that torturous time. In 1986, he releases his book called Zodiac. It goes on to inspire the 2000 film Zodiac, and to this day, it's considered the be-all and end-all of Zodiac literature. In 1996, the San Francisco Police Department announced that they're investigating the unlikely possibility that the Unabomber is also the Zodiac. This, like all the other leads, goes nowhere in the end. By the time the San Francisco Police Department declares the case inactive in April 2004, over 2,500 suspects have been investigated for the Zodiac killings. In the entire case, the only key suspect was the convicted child molester, Arthur Lee Allen, but all investigations turn up inconclusive. The case was reopened in 2007, but little progress was made. New DNA analysis was supposed to take place in May 2018, but the results have still not been reported. Do you think it's possible that after all this time, the Zodiac Killer could be identified? Could this DNA evidence uncover the answers to more crimes? By the end of this letter writing, the Zodiac claimed 37 murders. But after half a century, we can only hope the truth will someday be uncovered. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video and want to be first in line for new videos, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. Also, please hit the thumbs up button if you like this video, and don't forget to share with your friends. It goes a long way to helping the channel grow, and it doesn't cost you anything. I'll see you real soon for the next one. Thanks for watching.